So for these questions, for the first one, it says, what is the probability of a significant result occurring by chance where the significance level is p is less than or equal to 0.025? Now, the first thing, when you have a look at this, 0.025 as a percentage is 2.5%. So that gets rid of this B option straight away. So it's not going to be that one. Now, the other options say less than 2.5. Well, this also has an equal sign on it, so it's definitely not that one. And then it's asking, so you've got basically C and A left, and it's asking for the probability of a significant result occurring by chance. So by chance means that it's going to be A 2.5% or less, because there's a 97.5% chance that it's significant and that something has actually been found. So that's the reason why 1 was A. For question 2, it says, which of the following is one of the criteria for use of a parametric inferential statistical test? Now, it doesn't make sense to say about repeated measures design, because that's only criteria for a non-parametric test. They don't actually talk about designs for parametric tests. It says the level of data collected must be nominal. Well, that's incorrect. For a parametric test, you actually need at least interval ratio data. If it was nominal data, you'd be using a non-parametric test, such as the binomial sign test, or a chi-squared is nominal data as well. And then this one here says the means of each condition must be similar. Well, that makes no sense, because usually we have two conditions and we're trying to see if there's a difference between them. So for them to be similar, that doesn't necessarily matter. So therefore, the only one that's left is D, and it says the variance in the data in each condition must be similar. And that makes sense, because we want like a normally distributed population when we use a parametric test. Otherwise, if it's not normally distributed and it's skewed in some way, we'd use a non-parametric test. So that's why D is the correct answer for number 2. For number 3, we're talking about a binomial sign test, and which kind of criteria is required for that test. Well, binomial has got nominal in the actual name of it, so it's going to be nominal data. So it's either A or it's B. And bi means more than one, so means 2. And then that's why A is the correct answer, because it means it's a repeated measures design. For 4, it says, under what circumstances would you use a Mann-Whitney U test? Now, for a Mann-Whitney U test, I said to help you remember it, think of Whitney Houston, independent woman, so then that means it's either A or B. And for that test, it's not nominal data that you use for it, because nominal data is only for a binomial or a chi-squared, and so therefore it's at least ordinal data, so it can be ordinal, it can be interval, it can be ratio, and in this case, B is the correct answer. Now, question 5 was a bit mean, but this has been a question on a sample paper before. It says, what is RA in the formula for the calculation of the Mann-Whitney U test? Now, we don't actually use this formula when we're calculating Mann-Whitney U, but if you use logic, you can kind of work it out. When you do the steps of a Mann-Whitney U, you don't work out the means of the conditions. That's not what you do in a Mann-Whitney U, so it's not going to be A. You don't work out the square roots, because that's standard deviation, so it's not going to be that. And then you're left with number of participants and sum of the ranks of the condition. Now, you might divide by the number of participants, but you actually sum up. In fact, I don't even think in this test you do divide by them, so that wouldn't be an option either. You do sum the ranks though, so you sum the ranks of one condition, because it's independent measure design, and you sum the ranks of the other, and you use the least frequent rank, so the least frequent, amount, to calculate the rest of the test to get the observed value. So it's going to be D if you use logic. So if you see something like that, don't panic, just look at it and go, right, which makes sense? What's in the steps? Does it match one of those? And then pick the correct option.